7:30, correct?
Yeah, go ahead. Rabbi.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're doing good. It's Transportation Committee meeting on September 13th, 2021. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to talk about minutes. The review of the March, May, and June 2021 minutes. To my wonderful committee here, does anybody have any sort of opposition to the minutes? Anybody? Going once, going twice, going three times. Any opposition? Okay, everybody approves. Minutes have been approved for March, May, and June 2021. Okay.
The only problem we have, Rabbi, we have only the March that is being published. We're missing May and June.
Okay, so obviously we're going to have to hold it over to the next meeting.
All right.
I thought we did June, but okay, we'll hold it to the next one. Okay, so we've approved only the March minutes by everybody on the committee. Thank you. Street activity permit applications. I've spoken to the board, and the board says for these two, which is Conti's 100 Years Block Party, which will be October 22nd from 2 to 4 p.m., Barnes Avenue between Morris Park Avenue and Van Nest Avenue. There is no issues. There's no police issues. Does anybody from the committee have any questions about this permit?
I have invited the lady that, has put it in, which is the lady that, Amelia Tepelis, which is the one that heads the BID for Morris Park. She said that she's going to make it. I don't know if she's in or not.
Okay, but we could approve it if she's not here too, correct, Chris?
It's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have any objections from the committee?
I just want to know exactly what area that's really encompassing.
Well, it looks like it's saying Barnes Avenue between Morris Park and Van Ness. So that would be, according to me, one block.
It's
Is that correct?
exactly probably one block. Not
One
even
block.
one block. It's partial one block because
One
it's going to
block.
be during the time that they're going to have the co-naming.
Thank you.
And it's only 2 hours
To my understanding, yes.
during the day.
Yes.
Any discussion, opposition, or anything that would stop us from approving this? Okay, I make a motion to approve. Everybody's saying aye. I could see you all saying aye. So we approve Conti's 100 Years Block Party. Okay, next we're going to Allerton Avenue, the Strong City Record Studio anniversary.
Okay, I have Miss Grace Lovalio. She's the one that organizing this. Grace, can you hear us?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we hear you fine.
Oh, okay, good. So,
Can you tell us
what?
what is it about? And it's going to be, we see
Well,
Allerton Avenue between Wallace and Holland.
Well, I had asked for 3 blocks, but the block that I spoke to the people at the city, because we were going back and forth to see what was what. Anyway, so it's going to be between Holland and Kruger. I don't know if you're aware, but have you ever heard of DJ Jazzy or Jazzy J? Anybody?
I've heard of him.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I've
Well,
heard of him, Grace.
he's a big hip hop mogul, and he started hip hop here in the Bronx on Allerton Avenue at the site, where Hinwa is, the discount store, the Hinwa store, 759 Allerton. That was his original studio up there. So we wanted to honor him because this is a hip hop year, especially. We wanted to honor his accomplishments, and just acknowledge his ¿cómo se dice? His I can't even think of the word. What he's starting on Allerton, and basically, he started there. He's brought hip hop. We want to acknowledge that. We want to acknowledge him and acknowledge the fact that hip hop started. Some hip hop started right there on Allerton Avenue, which a lot of people don't know. It's a historical event, basically. A lot of people don't know about his accomplishments there, or what he did, what he started right there on Allerton Avenue.
Okay. Okay, so I'm all for hip hop, but do you have the store? Do you have the storekeepers behind you on this one?
Well, I was waiting to hear. Well, first of all, I had to leave town. My brother's wife passed away suddenly, so I'm away.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. So I'm not there now. When I get back, it's basically I don't see a problem with it because they'll be able to participate in this endeavor. So I don't anticipate a problem. It's just right now I'm not there, so I can't. It's just been one thing after another. So as soon as I get back, I'm going to call some people, see if I can have them speak for me. But if not, then I'll just have to do it. I don't anticipate a problem though with the store owners because it would bring business to them. It would be a spotlight on their wares and the location and so on, and bring people in to shop, which is another reason that we want to do this, because we didn't have the Allerton Food Festival this year. So this is something I can't even speak. The businesses can look forward to and participating in and getting some kind of revenue during that time.
Okay, but do you
just
have
helping them build up?
All right, not being anti this, I'm just saying, do you have a plan what you're doing? Are they dancing? Are there music? Is there food?
No, there definitely will be. No, there's definitely music. There'll be a lot of hip hop artists, from what I believe. DJ Jazzy is involved. He definitely will be there. Some other hip hop artists as well. Yeah, it'll be that. Like, it'll be music. I don't know about dancing. Maybe, I don't know, depending if they have a dance troupe behind them, but it's basically hip hop and just acknowledging the contributions of DJ Jazzy and other hip hop artists.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's that music going to emanate from? Is that going to be, these speakers going to be in the middle of the street, so that means no traffic is going through for 6 hours?
Right. Just as if it would be, if it was the same as the food festival, we'd be setting up in the morning or, mid-morning, and then from 12 to 6, I believe, or 12 to 6 would be the festival, and then with 6 o'clock we break down and shut it down.
Okay, Chris, I don't remember where did we put the buses last time with the food festival?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
The buses had went down Mace, but there's a lot of construction going on, so they may not be able to reroute because the 49 was not even able to close down Pelham Parkway because of construction, and they could not reroute buses.
Okay, so that's a question mark.
Well, I've seen them during the food festival. They would go down Arno as well, because I'm right on the corner of Barnes and Arno is where I live. So I see buses. They go down down Arno, up to because then that hits Boston Road, and they can make the right there and continue on up Allerton, or just it intersects.
What buses are you seeing on Arno? A school bus? I'm not talking a school bus. I'm talking MTA
no, I'm
bus.
talking about city buses. Yeah. not school buses.
Well, as you can see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, guys, especially you in computer. Right here, I'm showing you the street activity permit guidelines. And number three, it says in most instances, major thoroughfares and large two-way street cannot be closed. All events require a full street closure, must allow for 15-foot emergency vehicle lane. Which
Okay,
means you cannot use a vehicle or vehicles to block the street or the streets.
right,
So that means that, you know, you're gonna block it, but you have to need the seahorses that they call them, or the cones. You cannot block it with cars anymore.
okay,
So, and it says a sound permit must be obtained, of course, from 49 precinct.
right.
And vendors, it's gonna be any vendors, rides?
Yes, yes, we're expecting vendors, especially our local vendors who would be participating at no charge.
Okay,
So,
so vendors and rides, they must be insured and be licensed with the Department of Consumer Affairs, which
Right.
they're gonna need to prove that. And also,
right, they have to show it. Mm-hmm.
right, also,
Sorry.
it says number 10, for the first time events, which is, this is the first time. You know about this, Grace, because you have held other events, like the
Right.
back to school or end of school events. I remember you used to do that.
Right.
It's gonna be
Mhm.
needed a 55% of a petition signed. In this case, you have a combination of vendors, store owners, and maybe a building owners, if I'm not wrong. So if you can get a petition stating that in such and such date, the street's gonna be closed and cars have to be moved, or
Right.
you cannot move the car during the event.
Right.
So you are aware of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're gonna get that petition, you're gonna bring it to us, please.
Now, have,
Okay, well, I thought it was a little different because this is actually a festival. It's not a block party.
It
It's a
doesn't matter.
festival because vendors,
doesn't
'cause I-
matter. Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter.
okay.
I
All
mean,
right, that's fine.
for the first time, you're gonna bring that, and after that, after the first time, if you're gonna do it again, it shouldn't be a problem because, you know, it's a reoccurring kind of event. But in this case, it's the first time. And
Mhm.
let's see, what date is that? That is gonna be on
October.
October 16th.
October 16th. So can you make it? Can you bring a petition? Today's Tuesday. By next Wednesday, the 22nd.
I can try. I can do is try. Bring it where, to the office or?
You can email them to us if you want to scan them and email them to us. It's fine.
Oh, how can? Okay, so that means I would have to take a picture of all the petitions.
You can scan them.
Oh, like, okay.
You can scan them and
All right.
send them via email.
Okay. All right. Well, let me get rolling on that then. And
When you coming back, if I may ask?
well, this is the problem. I'm gonna have to get somebody that's in New York
That's why I'm asking. When you coming back?
to do it because although my sister-in-law is technically gone, we're waiting. My brother. Wow. Oh God.
Rabbi,
Yes,
can we extend it until the 29th, which is a good almost 2
sure,
weeks?
sure.
So, Grace,
Yeah.
can it be until the 29th, which is a
Okay,
good
that's
16
fine.
days? 16 days are good enough for somebody to
Okay.
get a petition or signatures.
Right. So that's however many stores there are, right? So if there's 10 stores, I need
At
like
least-
what, 8?
Yeah, at least about 8 of them. Yeah, if you can get
Right.
signatures for them.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. All right. Let me work on that from here because, like I said, right now we're just waiting for her body to die, and
Right.
it's kind of
But
getting
also-
pushed back.
Another thing I gotta mention, even though we gonna need those signatures, and I said it by the 29th,
Right.
if it passes on committee level, it's up to the full board to vote. Because the full
So-
board's gonna meet on the 30th. That's why I need the signatures on the 29th.
Oh, Okay. Okay, well, I just hope nobody has any objection to it, because, you know, I have done these things before, but, all right, let me get working on that, petition and, try to get it to you as
Grace,
soon as
Grace,
possible.
do you really need the date of October 16th? Could you move it back? Because I think you got a lot of work to do. And I want you to let this happen, but I think you have a short time with the death in the family and everything. Is October 16th. And granted, I don't know if you could go to November because it gets a little cold then, but could you go maybe the beginning of November or something like that?
Well, I don't think so, because the city, I already put in the SAPOs with the city. So, I mean, I could talk to them I could talk to Maria and see if I can, but I'm not sure if they do that. Because
Okay.
for them, it's set in stone. And then once the city has the date, they set it in stone, basically. So I'm not really sure.
Okay. And
Rabbi,
Chris,
let's
she
shoot for
can't do that under extenuating circumstances, and she had a death and everything. You can't move this date.
Mhm.
But that's why we postponed the gathering of signatures until the 29th.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I'm afraid that it has to be voted at full board.
Okay.
If
Okay.
it's not gonna get voted at the full board on the 30th, then the next full board is gonna be the 28th of October, which, let's forget.
Right, which is past the date.
Yeah, it's past the date.
Yeah, okay, well, let me get hopping on this, and if I could get it sooner than that, I'll get it to you, Chris. Do I email it to you, Chris, or just,
Just email it to me, CC Jeremy and Harriet, please, just in case.
Jeremy and
Because-
who?
And Harriet,
Oh, Harriet, okay. All right,
just in case, because
All
we
right,
live
will
in tough
do.
times nowadays. I'm dealing with a lot of things.
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe in and out of
Okay.
the office. No, it's up to you,
Chris,
Rabbi.
Chris, do we need an MTA approval on moving the buses, or we just move them?
Well, one thing, no, we cannot do that. I mean, it's not up to the community board 11. Then the only thing is going to be that street activity permit is going to get in contact with MTA and see that, what can be done over there.
Okay, because she cannot have those buses going down Alton if she's closing the streets. So,
Rightfully so.
Okay.
So.
okay, let's move on.
okay. All right, great.
It's up to you guys. You want to vote for it? You're okay with it?
I think we should, my opinion is we should table this till we see,
I agree, it needs to be tabled.
has to be tabled. Don't have enough information, and I want to see feedback from the vendors. And again, I want this thing to happen, but in my mind, the vendors that sell food are going to do great. But the vendors that sell sneakers and clothing, I don't know about that. But if they approve it, I'm fully approving it.
Okay, great. Okay. All righty.
And that's why I think we should get Grace a mix of vendors. Get a clothing store, get a food store, get an appliance store. So this way I know
Mhm.
pretty much everybody's on the same wavelength.
Definitely. The more diverse, the better.
Right? And I just don't want anybody crying to me that they had no business the whole day. That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Grace,
Should
in
I
case you
hang
want
up,
to go,
or-
I mean, my condolences again for your sister-in-law. You don't
Yes.
have to stay
Yeah.
because already,
Okay, great. Thank you so much. You guys have a great evening, and
You
I'll be
be
talking
well.
to you soon.
Only have happiness from now on, okay?
Yeah, well, from your lips to God's ear. All
Okay.
right. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay, we're going to move on now to a topic that has become a big concern in the neighborhood, and that is the famous e-scooter program. Now, I can only take from the committee now, and during the gallery, I can take from anybody out there that wants to talk about these e-scooters. So, what I've heard, and everybody could add, subtract to what I say, there's been opposition because they leave them in front of parking spaces. There's been opposition because they go down the block the wrong way. They go down too fast. And last but not least, which was probably as close to the parking thing, that these scooters are left all over the place and you could trip on it. And there's just no rhyme and reason where they're left. There's no like parking space for them. So that's, I think, the major concerns I've had. Anybody from the committee would like to add to that? The floor is yours.
I want to add that I have seen many scooters left in crosswalks or pedestrian ramps, so that's inhibiting the handicap or even the blind. You know, because if the blind are just used to
Correct.
having a path, and this scooter now is laying in front of them, that's not good.
Right.
I have also seen them just left on a one-way street. That I've seen them parked out in the street, leaning on the wrong side of vehicles. My car personally has been hit by one while it was parked. So and trying to deal with these companies to, to have them pay for the damages to my vehicle, it's like trying to find a golden nugget or something like that. I think this is a ridiculous program.
Okay. Okay, that's good points, all good points, and yes, I think it all goes back to they're just throwing these things all over the place and they become a hazard. Yes, very well said. Okay, anybody else have anything? My feeling is,
Yeah.
and I spoke to Jeremy about this, and I spoke to his associate about this, that sooner or later we're going to have to send a letter to these scooter companies and say it was a great idea or it sounded like a great idea, but it's causing havoc for our community. And hopefully we'll have that letter going out soon. And if I have to sign it, or Jeremy will sign it, somebody will sign it, but it's definitely not done a boost to Community Board 11. And if anybody thinks differently, please from the committee tell me now. Has anybody found? Go ahead.
I'd like, Rabbi, it's Christian Amato. I'd like to just add my thoughts to this. I think the program at large is still very good. I think, ridership has been strong. I see a lot of people utilizing the scooters and using them in the way they're supposed to be used to get around the neighborhood. They're great if you're trying to get around town for a quick meeting, if you don't want to move your car, but still want to be multimodal. I think it's a wonderful thing for us to have. I think we have to remember that this is the first phase of a pilot, and I think that we need to present our concerns so that phase 2 is even better and runs more smoothly and that our concerns are reflected. I think the biggest caveat to that is the fact that a lot of the geofencing that is currently being utilized by this program is prohibitive to the entire East Bronx, feeling like this is a conducive rideshare program because of some of the ways that the drop-off zones, the areas where you can take your scooter through, because sometimes it ends up that you're driving through a zone where you shouldn't have a scooter, it causes your scooter to lock, and that's what causes your scooter. That's why you're seeing some scooters sort of left haphazardly. Similarly, I think that while they're refining that geofencing, we can refine the drop-off locations and create a little more, rather a little less chaos and a little bit more of a collaborative culture with our community by establishing official drop-off regions, drop-off zones, especially closer to either bus stops or trains or parks, because that's going to make the experience a lot more favorable to the community if that is cleaned up. So I think that our goal should be to, recommend to the city that in phase 2, the geofencing is something that works both in favor for the community, but to make it easier for these scooters to be used by those who are using them.
Okay, duly noted, Christian. And I guess, yes, I think what you're saying, idealistically, it's a beautiful idea. Realistically, currently in phase 1, it's not making the community happy.
It's a little messy right now, but I think these are things that can be cleaned up.
Christian, I live well within this geofence, but that does not explain why I see the scooters just leaning up against vehicles on the wrong side of vehicles. So they're basically in the middle of the street, leaning up on parked vehicles,
Debbie,
On
I
the-
don't want to minimize your comment. You're totally right. Those situations are
this is
not good.
Lisa. I would like to know if, like, if we do send this letter, one of the that is definitely a concern that they're being left all over the place. And, you know, could they tighten up the restrictions on where they're left? And particularly, like, I know, I recall from our initial discussions on this, that there are, you know, certain areas where they're not supposed to be left. Like, they shouldn't be left in the street, in a parking spot, in a crosswalk. And so is there a way that these companies can penalize people for doing that, right? Like, they have their credit card information because they've rented these scooters. So when they find that they're left in a dangerous spot, like, they should be penalized accordingly. And that may help deter and, like, let them know that this will happen if they're not left in the appropriate spaces, and then maybe that will help deter people from just leaving them all around.
Yeah, but
So in
I-
other words, what I'm saying, and I think
I
Christian
agree
is saying
that it should be-
also, like, yes,
I agree
like,
that
there
it should
are
be-
problems with it, but realistically, is it going to go away? Probably not. So I think our best bet is to try to suggest solutions rather than just complaining about the problems.
I agree they should be penalized, but the thing is unless somebody, you know, tries to let the company know, okay, this was in the crosswalk, that was in the crosswalk or pedestrian ramp or in the street, they're not going to know. And, you know, it could, I've seen some of these scooters left in places for days. So if you rented it and parked it on Monday and where you left it, nobody moved it until like Friday, and then all of a sudden you're getting penalized, you know, Saturday. And that's only if you're lucky that you're able to even report that these things are illegal, you know, lack of a better word, illegally parked. Because I've tried to let these companies know, you know, hey, you got this thing sitting here for a good week, you know, like Christian was mentioning with the geofencing. There were a couple of bird scooters over by, I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about with the U-turn light over in Pelham Bay, but those seem to got dumped because they hit the geofence. And, you know, those were there for a good week. I try to let the companies know, and it's like crazy to even try to let them know without even trying to download their app. But I don't want to download their app.
Hey, it's Grace. I'm still here. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Can I say something?
Not yet, Grace. You gotta wait till gallery.
Okay, let me know, because I can't see you guys.
We'll let you know soon. Does anybody
Okay,
else have anything else to talk about the e-scooters, whether pro, con, or in between? Okay, so Chris, duly noted. We'll try to write a constructive email, a letter to these wonderful vendors and see what we could do to improve it. And I think we got to list our problems, list our issues. I don't want to say problems, list our issues, and maybe have them respond first. And if we want to put some recommendations, like the scooter police or something like that, which we know is never going to happen, we could try to put some realistic solutions to these issues. Okay. Anybody else from committee on e-scooter, or else we're moving on to gallery? Okay, gallery. Let us start off with Mr. David Kupperberg, because I think he was on first, and then Grace, you're going to go next. And then I see a
Okay.
Kevin, I see a Roxanne, and a Kevin. Okay, David, it's all yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the MTA has decided to restart the Bronx Bus Network redesign with a planned implementation for fall 2002. It is time for the people of the Bronx in general to reacclimate themselves because knowledge is power. And I have long believed that the MTA's proposal leaves much to be desired. One of the goals of the Bronx Bus Network redesign should be to make the city limits less of a barrier between neighborhoods, whether or not Westchester County wants to participate. I think that the BX30 should operate all times and its route path mimic Beeline Route 60 and 61 within the city limits. In turn, Westchester County Beeline 52 would be extended southward via Connor Street and the current BX30 route path into Co-op City. My ideas would simplify service, not penalize current riders, and as that Westchester County participates in the MetroCard fare scheme, enhance regional connectivity. The purpose of express bus service is to complement the subway, not compete with it. That's why the BXM 11 is proposed to be diverted north of the Bronx Zoo via Boston Road and Bronxwood Avenue. Many financial district express bus riders who live in Central Bronx are upset that the BXM 18 is being shifted away. I think that the solution is to extend some trips of the proposed BXM 5. Implementation of all redesign proposals must be based on community input. Of course, there has to be compromise and negotiation, and no plan will satisfy everyone. The plan that is finally decided upon must not be dictated by a higher authority. Communities must make sure that their concerns are adequately addressed, but also be willing to support plans that are for the greater good and not take a parochial approach. Most of all, the communities that are virtually isolated from others must not block attempts to improve access to communities by wanting to stay isolated and automobile dependent. We must all work together to have better bus service for the Bronx. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, I'm just going around here. We're going to go to Kevin.
Hey, Rabbi?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, it's Lisa. Sorry, I got cut off before. I was trying to make a point about the e-scooter program.
Sure, go ahead, Lisa.
so
We'll go
I-
backwards. No
I
problem.
don't know how much you might have heard or if any of it was said, if I'm
Wow.
repeating something I might not have heard. But I just wanted to say that in the letter, if there's a way that we could ask the companies to penalize people who are leaving scooters in in dangerous situations that are not permitted. I mean, I don't know the exact regulations, but I imagine that I know that they have to take like a permitting type of class, and I'm sure that that outlines where they are supposed to leave the scooters. So if we let them know that this is happening and they can implement fines or violations, or if people leave scooters in dangerous locations too many times, maybe they're banned from the program, or just something to that effect. Because I can, as Christian mentioned, this is phase one. I'm sure there are going to be other phases. I doubt it's gonna go away. So what we should really look at is like trying to help propose solutions to make it work better, rather than just complaining about it, about the problems, because it's probably not gonna
Okay.
go away. So
Yeah, okay,
so-
Lisa, I don't know if you heard me. I said we're going to give the issues and
Mhm.
we will give some suggestions up there. If they'll be
Okay.
implemented, I can't promise you, but at
Right.
least we can give some realistic solutions.
yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Okay.
Rabbi,
okay, we
let
go
me, let me,
now.
let me
we're moving
hold
on
on,
to-
Rabbi. Before
Is
we
it my
go
turn?
any no, hold on. Before we go any further, I have Camelia from Morris Park Business Improvement District. Give her just about 1 minute. She's going to quickly describe what exactly is going to happen at Comtis. If
Hello.
she can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
go
this
ahead.
okay? Can I
Yes.
speak? Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And apologies, I was trying desperately to log in, and also in the same time on my computer, I'm in another board meeting. So apologies again for kind of disrupting the moment you're on, but just wanted to do my job here and tell you what the SAPO application is for. You will know that in the information that was distributed, it says October 22, but only yesterday, actually, Comtis came back to me asking if possible to move this for October 23, which is from a Friday to a Saturday. Basically, they're turning 100 years old this year. The Community Board 11 approved the resolution supporting a potential New York City Council resolution to support renaming of the street, and we don't know the status on that one. But what in any case, they wanted to do a celebration for the entire community. So we applied for SAPO to close the block to Barnes between Morris Park and Van Nest. Honestly, it's only that corner towards Morris Park that will get probably used, but the way Sapo structure is, like you have to tell the block exactly. So they will stop, they will close at Morris Park Avenue and at Van Nest. And there will be couple of tables, couple of food vendors, food trucks. If we have it gets approved in the city council, there will be the renaming ceremony with Councilman Jonah and any other officials. There will be activities for children. Basically, everything will happen between 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. So the BID is also sponsoring this application for them. So basically it will be kind of like a nice October community block festival, I would call it, for a couple of hours of fun and whatever crafts and activities for children and cannoli and all these things, basically just Conti marking their anniversary. So this is what it is all about. Any questions?
So also, so you're changing the date, and before it was only 2 hours, now it's 4 hours.
No, it's always in the application. We put 1 to 5 because they need to know also the time that we set up. So we will set up from 1 to 2, then the event itself will be from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to 5, it will be kind of removing and cleaning. So the actual, how to say, quote unquote program will be 2 to 4, we are thinking.
Okay.
Amelia, which part you closing? Morris Park?
No, Barnes is the closed
Barnes.
one. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
closed there between, it's the law office and the residential building and the Seventh-day Adventist church. So it's closed there. And then Barnes, it's no traffic all the way to Van Nest. But it's actually only the part of Barnes that is closer to Morris Park where activities will take place.
Okay, because I thought it was Morris Park. Otherwise,
No. It's just Barnes. It's the side
Okay.
street, basically. Yeah.
it's
Okay.
any buildings around there?
Sorry?
It's any buildings around there?
I don't know what buildings?
It's any buildings around there?
Any
buildings?
Yeah.
Yes, the corner, yeah, on Barnes, there's that residential building. I think it's 5 stories high.
Okay, can you get some signatures? Make a petition. We're gonna get like some signatures.
In all honesty, I'm telling you, I don't have the time to do this. I'm doing this to support one of our local businesses. I'm doing already on the SAPO applications, but I have my own job, so I will not do petitions for anybody.
Can you tell the
I'm
guys that,
sorry, I'm just being honest.
can you tell the guys at county to do that? You know what's the reason? Because if you decide to close and there are cars parking there and they're not
True,
aware of it.
but I think NYPD has a procedure whereby
No,
if the SAPO
no,
permit is approved, they'll inform. But this is like a 1/2 day, honestly, between 1 and 5, 1/2 day disturbance once every 100 years. So, and this will bring a lot of joy to the community, including to those residents.
Camelia,
But
I don't
they
wanna-
will make it,
Camelia,
yeah, but
Camelia, I don't wanna- I
personally,
don't-
I will not do
listen,
that.
listen,
But I will
listen.
convey to Contis, yes.
I don't want to be rude. I know it's 1 in 100 years. It can be 1 in 1,000 years. God forbid something goes wrong over there. Somebody hits somebody, like it happened about 2 days ago.
Yes,
Child
in
is
any
dead.
of this, yeah, but Chris, you
Then
already
guess
know,
what?
many of
No, but let me finish. Let me finish. God forbid something like that happen, you're responsible. You
Yes,
need
that's
a
what-
street activity permit. If somebody gets hit, and actually I'm suggesting, and we suggest to everybody, you have to get a life insurance for 1 day, at least up to $1 million. So that's
Yeah,
why,
so-
hold on. It's what we call,
Can
you
I
know what we
explain?
call it?
Yes.
Since we're for the
So-
neighborhood, tell them to get a petition. Why? Because if it happens, we approve. And a petition is not signed, and somebody gets hurt, the community board 11 is kind of liable. So
Yeah,
we rather
so
have
SAPO
a
is
petition.
requesting me to add to the bid insurance, the city and SAPO and Conti specifically for this event. So the insurance requirement is embedded in the application already. I thought you meant like a petition for people, like for the residents, if they agree or if they support or they don't support, or, you know, there's the sense of advocacy. But in the sense of liability, we are following all city requirements, one of them
Listen, that's your problem. We just mentioned it for being polite. If somebody sues you, that's your problem. Our problem is for you to collect those at least 55% of signatures on that block. Because we just had another activity. We just had another activity on Allerton Avenue, and we told the lady the same thing. First time applications, we need at least 55% of signatures. So today, like I did it for her, today is the 13th. I'm sorry, today's the 13th. We give you guys until the 29th of this month. So we're talking about good 16 days. Has to be brought to us.
Yeah, I
before the
have
full
a
board.
job where I will convey your message.
Camilla, if you cannot do it, then you need to appoint somebody to do it for you.
This is not an event for me. This is an event for the community. I will convey to Contis because it's for them that we are doing all this and for the corridoring for the community to convey, to enjoy. I will convey your request. Personally, I'm just telling you honest because I might as well bullshit you, but no, I want to be honest with you. I have a job to do. I'm supporting this organization because this is a fantastic business for the community. Also, it's a beautiful occasion for the people to enjoy, but I will not knock door to door. I will tell Contis what you're asking them to do, and be it as it may. Maybe we don't close then and we don't do nothing, so. Anyways, I'm leaving it with you guys. I just wanted to show up here, do my job, and tell you what it is about.
It's your final word for it. You're the chair.
Final word for the chair is that let our speaker here speak to Contis and see what the response is from Contis. That's all. Tell Contis to contact the community board office.
Correct.
And see what they could get us. That's it. And then we approve this already, but I guess, Chris, under extenuating circumstances, we could disapprove it if we do not get a real answer back from.
No. Rabbi, let me correct you. Whatever we approved, it has to do about co-naming, which is a completely different issue.
No, we approved a permit before at the beginning of this meeting.
No, the co-naming. We approved the co-naming.
Yeah.
This is street activity permit office, which is completely different. Co-naming is dealt at city council. SAPO is street activity permit office under mayor's office, completely different.
Yes. We have to obtain from NYPD. They already told us they will give us a sound permit because there will be a DJ for the music. We have to show them proof of additional insurance. We have to include Contis in the insurance for that specific day. We have to include SAPO itself, any employee of the city of New York. All this we already did. We have to provide the setup of the table, a run of show. We have to provide a million things to SAPO for this to be run safely and just for the people to enjoy half a day on Barnes without, cars passing through. Having said that, if it doesn't get approved, we'll stay on the sidewalk and that is it. But I think that this is wonderful because Conti is committing resources, a lot of money to do something nice for a community on a Saturday in October. And I think this is a good thing for everyone to enjoy. But I understand your constraints and I understand your message. All I can do is just be as genuine with them as I was with you, and I will tell them what you are asking them.
These are rules and regulations that we passed a long time ago. You can get in our website. You can get under the forms and guidelines. You can click in there. And right in there, you're going to see that if you want to do a street activity permit and you're going to do a block party and everything else, read the rules and regulations that were voted from the board.
Yeah, I mean, did this apply? Did the Columbus Day Parade obtain such a petition? Did the Yemeni American Parade, all of this we support as well?
Yes, all of them obtained permission.
No, that is fair, is fair. I can only, take your word for it and tell them that.
The Columbus Day Parade is being done for the last 30 years already, if I may say so.
Yes, absolutely.
If County is going to do it 101 year, we're not going to ask any more for signatures. If we're going to do 102 years, we're not going to need any more signatures. But
I understand. I understand. I'm not. Yeah, I understand.
I got to go by that because at the end of the day, it's our community. Of course, like you say, we like what we're doing. But if it happens, somebody for some reason, without Conti wanted to, hits somebody and kills it.
Yeah, but that's insurance. That's why all these insurance requirements.
No, it's not only insurance. It's us too. Because people are going to jump up and say, how come you didn't ask signatures for them? But you asked for, in this case, Allerton Avenue. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Morris Park is different than Allerton? I don't think so. I need the
Right.
signature on the 29. If not, it's up to.
Yeah, but with this, the community will never receive anything new. I mean, it's a pity that there are resources that people
That's
wanna
may never
allocate.
happen. May never
Yeah.
happen. For the life of the people, may never happen these activities.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in your hands, guys. What can I say? I mean, nothing else, man.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. I think we've discussed it enough.
Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
we wait
Thank
for
you so much
Conti's
for the
response.
question. I will convey Conti's and thanks for
Fine.
listening, and then we see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you so
let's
much.
move on.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, I was gonna call on Kevin next. Kevin DeLoya. Kevin DeLoya, are you there? Okay.
I thought you were next, Rabbi.
What?
I unmuted
You wanna-
myself, but I'm not registered to speak. I just
Okay,
left a note in the chat. Thank you.
okay, thank
Okay,
you.
it's Grace, Rabbi, it's Grace.
Also, I was signed up to sign up, but
Yes,
no one recognized
Roxanne,
me.
you're gonna be after Grace.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Grace.
Right, going back to the scooters. The scooters, to me, I'm a senior and partly disabled. The scooters are an assault on the disabled and the seniors, and anybody with a disability, because the people that ride them, they go on, they don't care about who's in their way. They'll be on the sidewalks. They lay those scooters anywhere they are, so people can trip on them. So that's the thing. Now, you said you're going to send a letter to the company. I think you should demand that the company not only set up a way to track offenders of people who ride on sidewalks and discard bikes any which way they want, but they also need to set up a fund for people who, like Debbie, who have damage to their car so they can pay the damages. There needs to be a fund set up because they might be able to penalize the riders, but who's getting that money? The company. They're gonna profit even more from the penalties. And that money, any money should go to a fund. They should set up a fund and a hotline in some kind of way for people to report these people who are abusing the scooters and not following the rules. They need to have something set up. They need to have a fund dedicated to injuries and property damage as well. And that should also be in the community board letter.
Okay, well taken, Grace. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Roxanne, it's yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm speaking as the founder of Friends of Pelham Parkway, who has been caring for the Pelham Parkway Greenway for the last 5 years. Regarding the e-scooters, first, as many people have stated earlier, it's left everywhere. But regarding Pelham Parkway Greenway, it's within the orange zone where it has the mandatory roadbed corrals and sidewalk corrals. Unfortunately, the companies are not collecting the scooters within the orange zones to put them back in those mandatory corrals. So I guess because to cut costs, they're not doing it frequently as they did when they first launched the program. So they're not abiding by their agreement where those e-scooters within the orange zone must be in those in those roadbed or sidewalks corrals. So first thing I would really suggest for them to abide by their agreement and make sure they collect them daily and put them in those corrals within the orange zones. Second, I have sent photos and emails to DOT regarding minors frequently riding on these e-scooters. I'm talking about not 17 years old. I'm talking about 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids riding on these scooters on the sidewalk, jeopardizing themselves as well as the rest of the public, residents in the public. This is very unfortunate because sidewalks are not meant to be ridden by wheels. They're not paved. They're cracked. They're uneven. So you have these kids jeopardizing themselves as well as the other public users. So this is a very serious issue that DOT is looking the other way around. For them to say that contact the three companies are private entities. They are not here to enforce the rules and regulation of this city. It relies on DOT who has a legal and moral responsibility to make sure that all sidewalks and roadways are safe for all users, including pedestrians. Lastly, New York City park rules. As I said, I am the founder of Friends of Pelham Parkway. We've been cleaning the parkway and advocating for the parkway for the last 5 years. And when I tell you I know the parkway, I know it from from beginning to end. We had had signs for the last year regarding no e-scooters, motorized or electric, allowed or permitted on the Greenway. Unfortunately, I've been informed recently that the Parks Department has made exception to the e-share e-scooters, and I'm wondering why. This is very unfair because what does it make? Does it make a difference if the e-scooter is privately owned or is part of this pilot program? So you only will permit those e-scooters part of the pilot program that share on the Greenway, but not those that are privately owned. I mean, that makes no sense. Again, this is all about money because this pilot program has not benefited this community. It first of all puts all of us, pedestrians mostly, people have said this is a war on cars. This is a straw man argument. These e-scooters are not replacing cars because they're being ridden on sidewalks and the parkway. There's no cars on the sidewalks on the Greenway. The people who are riding these e-scooters are those who are doing it for enjoyment or recreation, because people who actually do use e-scooters for public, for commuting purposes, they actually own their e-scooter because on the long term, it's cheaper to own your scooter than to rent something that comes out to over $12 per half hour. This has many drawbacks for our community. Unfortunately, we have people who just say, I want e-scooters because they're good for the environment. No, I am actually a real environmentalist who's been fighting for our trees and for our community for the last 5 years, fighting against illegal barbecue and actually put myself on the line with arguments with barbecuers. I care about the environment. This is not good for the environment. It has made our young people lazy where they don't actually walk. This has taken pedestrians off the sidewalk into these e-scooters. You're making us unhealthier, unsafer, and ungreener. I really wish the community board would send an email to city council because it's the city council that approved this pilot program. And it's the city council, if they've been aware, because DOT is with the private companies. They are going forth with this pilot program regardless of how many people are injured or held back or affected negatively. We need to send an email, please, to city council to address all these issues and let them rethink what they did to this community because this really has been a drawback for us. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Okay, very well said. Thank you. Now, Chris, I'm thinking that do we get something like this to Channel 12 after if there's no type of response to the email or letter? Because it sounds
Most
like
definitely. Yes, it can be done.
it sounds like there's enough people in the community that would go on and show the damage to cars and where these things are being left. And maybe if we get lucky, we'll see a 12-year-old driving one of these things. That's what I would think if we don't get any response here. Or you could go to the newspapers too. And I think the letter that we sent out, I think Roxanne inferred this, whatever goes out, I think we should copy everybody. We should copy Joe Nye and everybody that's out there and the borough president, so on and so forth.
Yes, you're the chair.
Thank you.
You can pass a motion. Pass a motion.
Okay. So I'm going to make a motion now.
Yeah.
The letter will be sent out with, I think I have a long list here of the issues. We will try to make some recommendations to these issues. And if we do not get a proper response or any response for that matter, then we could take this to the media, whether it be the newspapers or Channel 12, Channel 4, Channel 92, to show that this is really having the effect on Community Board 11. That's my motion. Committee, does anybody have any questions about the motion, how I stated? I know it took a long time.
Well, I trust that it'll be condensed properly and whatnot, but I second the motion.
Okay. Any objections? Okay. Motion will be properly written up by me, Chris, and we'll start with the letter to these companies, and then we will go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, now, Chris, just for my point of information, maybe everybody here on the meeting too, has been any report of vandalism or anybody getting injured on these scooters? Or for that matter, has anybody heard of that?
I've only So far, the only scooters that I've heard that are catching fire are the ones that people have home. But it'll only be time until these things start catching fire themselves.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let us go to good old business.
I'm sorry, Rabbi?
I'm here. I hear
Can
you.
you please send you an email with all the detailed issues we've been having? I've been monitoring this issue and taking photos. Can I send you the email regarding all the issues as
Yeah,
backup?
send it to Chris and he'll forward it to me or whatever you want to do.
All right.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
send it to
Yes.
Chris this
Roxanne,
way.
forward it to me.
Yeah, we'll look at it and we'll
you.
definitely take your input. And anybody else that wants to send an email, God bless you all. The more ammunition we have, the better. Okay. Old business. Okay, let's see. I'm just reading all the chats now. I just want to say,
Any new business?
I just want to mention here, Kevin has sent in a whole bunch of chats, and I see what you're saying, Kevin. I'm with you, and I think we got to try to find the positive too. We got to find the positive too. You're absolutely correct. We're not here to destroy this program. We're here to make it safe for everybody. And it's not ammunition, it's just evidence of what is going on with this program.
Yeah, I just want to put in for the old business for the community board to please follow up on certain traffic issues that I have put in many times since I would say at least last November of
Maybe most
the
of them are fulfilled. Yellow
uh,
lines, stop signs, everything. Do
no,
not enter, it's about to.
excuse me, the yellow lines on Pelham Parkway have not been done. The painting
Where in
of
California,
stop at the painting of stop is not done on
You know,
Astor
look
Avenue.
at the email, Debbie. Look at the emails that they send you. They give you a certain amount of time, and it's going to be done within that certain amount of time. I mean, you have spoken directly with Matt, and he
And
sent
I
you
keep
the
on getting, the runaround, but yet in other areas it get done quickly. I'm just asking for the community board to light the fire under them a bit, because I mean, it's ridiculous that things are taking a year when it should be simply done, when
Right.
in the community board, they're done right away. All I'm asking is a follow-up.
Yeah,
All I'm asking is a follow-up.
it's
Because
giving us the answers, and we wait on that.
why should there be a study for a stop sign or stop the stop writing on the ground? It's sketched out. It's sketched out. What's taking them so long to put the paint down? The excuse they gave me back in November, the weather was getting too cold. Okay, then I left it alone until March, April. Then it was like, oh well, we wasn't aware of it, this, that, the other. It's now September. It's gonna get cold again. When are they putting the paint down?
They're
When are they?
waiting for infrastructure to build to pass so they can get. Come on, Debbie. You know, I'll follow up with it. Don't worry about it.
I'm even talking about when the resurfacing of Astor Avenue. I've sent the pictures. They've sketched out the word stop. They've never painted the word stop. There, this all those areas, and then like I said, the beginning of Pelham Parkway, which is not in the scope of area of the reconstruction. Put down the yellow lines because people are driving the wrong way over in that area. They come and make that turn, and then they don't even realize they're on the wrong side of the road at night. What's so hard about that?
I don't know which area you're talking about. Which area you're talking about? They're coming the wrong way.
They drive on the wrong side of Pelham Parkway at the area by Pelham Parkway and Stillwell near the 911 call center. It's between Stillwell and the Hutch or the Amtrak or whatever you want to call it that's over there or whatnot. That's the area that there's no line. You cannot see any line there. Paint the line. I know I've wanted the line even before November, but I know I've been on record since November asking for that for that yellow line.
Okay, I'm gonna wake up Nether Rancher again.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else old? Anybody have something new to say? I can tell you new, Chris, and everybody here, that Boston Road today in the morning was back to not only normal, but real abnormal. It was backed up from the Parkway past Mace today. So I don't know if that's because of the construction or I ran down to Allerton, but it was pretty bad today, and that's one thing we've never come up with a solution for, Chris.
Did you see any agents over there, Rabbi? I'm just asking.
I ran away from it. I ran away. I went
Oh,
down
okay.
Allerton and went through Morris
But
Park.
is exactly at the area where they're doing the construction? I'm talking about the Pelham Parkway construction, or is it a little bit further out?
No, I think they're doing construction on Boston Road too. Now, I didn't make it down there to see if they were doing it today, so that's my fault.
Okay.
I think it was the natural back to school backup, and we just got tons of cars out there. And that corner of Boston Road and whatever Pelham Parkway, White Plains Road, Pelham Parkway, that remains a disaster.
I hear you. I'm gonna speak with Joanna Rojas, and let's see what we can do about it. If it has to do with construction, they have to put more agents so they can make the
Yeah.
traffic flow a little bit more easy. But of course, yesterday was also the first day of school, so everything was expected. I mean, the lateness is always expected when school starts because we're talking about teachers coming back, parents are driving kids. Meanwhile, for the entire summer and for the entire year, due to the COVID, we didn't see all that kind of traffic. So today, let's give it a chance for tomorrow. Let's see if tomorrow is going to get as bad as today. Then we're going to see what we can do about it. I'm going to talk with Joanna anyway.
Okay, I got a quickie from Roxanne about the traffic agents. She wants to know if she could speak. Yeah, I could give you a few minutes, Roxanne. We're a little over time, but a few minutes is fine.
I definitely agree with the sentiments regarding the traffic due to the reconstruction and just high usage of during busy hours. Unfortunately, Joanna Rojas states that they do make requests for more traffic officers, but the city only provides them with minimal because they have understaffed a number of traffic officers. They tend to have high turnovers because most of these officers are underpaid and they move to EMT or NYPD, so they tend to have high turnover. So she has made those requests often due to my concerns and community concerns. Unfortunately, the city doesn't provide them with sufficient number as requested. Just to give you an update on that.
Yeah. And the question, Roxanne, again, is with the traffic agents that are there, and I've reported this before, I don't know how efficient they are. I see a lot of them just standing around.
The traffic agents are not efficient at all. At all.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we're going to win that battle one day.
All right, thank you.
One of these days, hopefully. Okay, anybody else? Last call. Thank you, everybody, for being on this meeting. And hopefully, oh, wait, somebody coming in?
Well, I just wanted to add my 2 cents about the traffic agents. As a suggestion, I don't know if you could do this, but either through the community board or maybe somehow through the city or our elected officials, have some kind of funding. Let's have some community, see if we can have community people go out with the, what do you call it, with the reflectors and stop signs to help with the flow of traffic, because the traffic agents, they sit in their cars or they don't ever do enough what they're supposed to do, or they're not even there. So why don't we get more of the community people involved? You got a lot of community leaders that I'd be willing to go spend a couple of hours directing traffic if that's what it takes, because I know how backed up.
It's liability issues.
I don't want to
That's
stop you.
liability issues.
Grace, but I think we brought this up once upon a time, and this could have been 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And one, go find volunteers. 1 and 2, there's an insurance problem. If God forbid,
Yeah.
anybody got hit by a car out there while directing traffic, a lot of people would be sued. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
we got to try to improve the traffic agents. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. Anybody have an objection to that motion? Okay,
Second.
we're ready to go. Have a good evening. Get home safe and stay safe. And we'll speak to you in another month. God
Have
willing.
a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Time is 8:36 p.m. and I'm stopping recording, and have a good night.
Okay, be well, everybody.
Good night.